Yeah, hi. I called earlier and someone left me a message to call back and press the
You called earlier in reference to
a corrupt attorney named
a who?
a corrupt attorney in Rhode Island.
And someone sent you, someone called you from this office,
Yeah, called me back and said press option 1.
and do you know who called you?
No, I have the message, but they didn't leave a name. They just said it was a lady. She said press option 1.
A lady told you to press option 1.
Yeah,
It wasn't a recording?
no.
No? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, I could record her voice. I could record it and then play it back to you. You want to do that?
Okay, because
This is the Rhode Island Department of Attorney General. You left a message here for us, and we're returning the call. You can call us back at 401-274-4400, option 1. You can speak to anyone in the unit. Thank you.
yeah, and she said anyone.
That
to
sounded.
you?
It sounded like you. You know, they talk. They talk like this over there. I don't know
Yeah,
why
no,
everybody
that's not
over.
me.
Why everybody over there talks like this.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know, but they said to press what option 1, and you could talk to anybody. So I press option 1, and I'm talking to anybody. I guess you're anybody. Are you Mrs. Anybody?
Yeah, I guess I'm anybody.
Oh, hi,
Give me
anybody.
1 second, please.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Hey, can I ask you a question, Miss Anybody?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, it's not against the law for me to ask you about the greatest scientific evidence news ever in the history of the world. God down here with blatant scientific evidence through the skin of Sweeter Peter Palpin. In other words, that's his reality. That's the greatest news ever. So it's not against the law for me to bring that up and talk about it, is it? Especially when that guy is me, Petey Sweetie. So it's not against your rules for me to bring this up, is it? Hello?
No, go
Is
ahead.
it?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so are you
No,
excited?
I don't know.
Are you excited? Are you excited, knighted, and delighted that the love, the light, the love, the bright, and the one only way is here in our modern day with this humanly impossible, blatant scientific evidence, ways and phyllodes of the corona G victory virus, those black bags, those humanly impossible real-time tags that God puts on people's outsides in the name of pride and snide? Or is it not snide, just pride? But the people who pretend it's not true are full of snide and pride. You know, they're lost in the id, insanely jealous of God's kid bid. Do you agree or disagree with the soliloquy? So that's why people discriminate against me, Petey Sweetie. You understand?
Yes, let me see. I'll transfer you to criminal in case that someone from there called you because I don't recognize the voice.
Oh,
Give me 1
criminal
second.
sounds good, yeah. It's criminal.
I am currently teleworking and not available immediately. If you would like to leave me a message, you may do so after the beep. I will be checking messages periodically, and I will get back to you. Thank you.
Please leave a message at the tone. When finished, you may hang up or press pound for additional options.
Yeah, Allison, hi, I'm calling. I called earlier. You left a message for me to call back and press option 1, but I have to talk to you in the criminal department. So anyone who's in the criminal department, I need to talk to immediately and expediently. My phone number is 603-892-7109. That's 603-892-7109. You can call me anytime, day or night. Rhymes with the light, the love, the light, the love, the bright, and the one only way here in a modern day with human impossible blatant scientific evidence ways and fillets. I hope you're excited, knighted, and delighted about that, like me, that cat in the hat. 603-892-7109. You can call me anytime, day or night. And I'm recording this because you guys don't call me back. It's criminal, and then I'll have to call you guys to take care of the criminal. Okay, thank you. I record everything for historical purposes, so I'm calling, as I said, for civil rights. You're the Attorney General. Enrolled crime when, enrolled slime when, puns intended, because people discriminate against me and harass me. It's been going on for years. In the most disgusting, despicable, deplorable, horrible, immoral ways and fillets. So anyway, I need to call the Attorney General's office in Rhode Island, and that's who you are. 603-892-7109. You can call me anytime, day or night. Thank you. Yes, Carol, I called you guys earlier and left a message, and then somebody there called back and said just press option 1, and you guys are option 1, and it's obviously, it's criminal, but the criminal message says if it's criminal case of identity, I think. My case is a criminal in the case of corrupt
How
attorney.
can I help? All right, yeah, how can I help you? So what is your name?
My name is Chaplain Peter Palpin, P-A-L, Pin, P-I-N, better known worldwide as the one and only skin, that the one and only God Almighty has ever jumped in with blatant scientific evidence all the way from heaven. And so obviously when you know that, I'm the most honest human being in the history of the world, and that's why I got this job, for being the most moral, zero prejudice, honest human being in the history of the world. You
Okay,
agree,
so
you
you
agree
have
with
an
that,
I-
right? Do you agree with that? Do you agree
I
with
have a
that?
call coming.
Do you agree with that?
Sure. Can you tell me what your issue is? Is it an ID issue?
No, I told you it's not IT. It's my brother's house sold for $800 in a tax sale in Chepachet, Road Crimeland, Road Slimeland. And so the person who bought it, I called and he put me in touch with his attorney. And so I have no problem paying the $800 and like a couple dollars, whatever it would cost in fees or whatever, normal things. And I recorded the attorney telling me, because I knew he was going to be corrupt. And so I want copies of all the money that they're going to charge me that his client has paid him for the attorney work, right? And he admitted he didn't charge his client any money because they're going to charge me, and they can make up any number they want. And so they came up with an $8,000 bill, which is totally bullshit, because I called other attorneys and everyone told me,
Okay,
it's
you're
not.
absolutely right. I got you. So it's not us, so I need to get you to the right person. And that is the Rhode Island Disciplinary Board of the Supreme Court to report this attorney. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have a pen?
Hold on. Clear. I know who to call. So my other problem is that because you guys take care of discrimination and harassment, and I'm the most discriminated, harassed person in the history of the United States. And so in Rhode Island, they were really evil to me, and they pretended that I was crazy and put me in a nut house. So I have to sue. I need you to help me go after the people that did that to me. So it's people within the system of Road Crimeland, Road Slimeland.
So that has to be done through the Rhode Island Commission on Human Rights.
Okay, hold on, let me get that. Your office is just like a office that connects people with the people who we're supposed to get in touch with who discriminate and harass, right?
Well, that's part of our role, certainly.
Like, what do you guys do? Like, do you go after anybody?
We're the state's prosecuting office, so crimes are alleged by.
So what about this crime? Like,
Well, I don't know. Someone has to charge you.
charge
So
me
as
with a
law
crime?
enforcement, no.
No, like
It has to be
like, here's an example. Like, my brother, I got his house. He went to heaven, and I record everything. So I got the police telling me they don't know where the key is to my brother's house for months, and then I have the people that the police gave the key to. So that's like trying to cause me mental and financial anguish, in lying to me, which is slander. And then tons of stuff was stolen from my brother's house, and I call those police to help to do arrests, to go look for the people who stole it, and I have idea who, and they just ignore me the whole time, and I have like tons of recorded phone calls calling the captain, talking to him, like just basically lying to me. So that's criminal. So will you guys go after that and prosecute them?
We don't go after people until there is a crime charged by
Well,
law enforcement.
how am I going to hire the law? How do I hire the law enforcement to arrest themselves?
You don't hire the law enforcement. If you find that there's an issue with a local police department, you can make a complaint to their internal affairs, or you can go to the Rhode Island State Police and let them know what's going on.
Okay, hold on. To go after the nut job facility that pretended I was nuts there, you know, like, and all the people who put me in a place like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, like, they are the nuts. In other words, can you imagine, I'm the least nutty person ever and the most moral, you know, non-violent person in the history of the world. That's why God's channeling through me with blatant scientific evidence. So all these jealous people make up these heinous lies and try to cause me huge mental and financial anguish, putting me in jails with no bail, and then putting me in a nut house like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and everyone in there like pretending that I'm nuts and telling me they're going to tie me to a gurney and keep me there the rest of my life and inject me with drugs. Can you imagine if that was you, how the mental anguish you're going through to be put through that, and you didn't do anything at all? In other words, I was calling the news about the greatest scientific evidence news story in the history of the world to make them 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock news. In other words, God channeling through a human being with blatant scientific evidence. Would you agree that's the most important news in the history of the world? Or do you disagree?
I don't have an opinion, sir. I'm not here to have an
You do have an opinion. That's why you're hired there, to come up with, if it's, in other words, it's either true or not true. In other words, God channeling through me, taking over my body, turning me into a puppet, and walking me humanly impossible blindfolded, and moving me at humanly impossible speed, and turning me into a humanly impossible superhero boy. That's not the most important news in the history of the world? What's more important than that?
I don't know, sir.
When God is here demanding that all war has to be against the law, is that more than any goddish or more than any devilish? God down here demanding all war should be against the law. You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Again, I don't have.
You don't have an opinion on that either, a rat.
Nope.
What about making all pollution against the law? Would you think that's more than any goddish or more than any devilish like Jesus is? Because Jesus forgives destroying Mother Earth with the oil and the foil and the spoil of the planet, doesn't he? Did you go to church on Sunday and beg Jesus to forgive you for sinning?
I'm not here to answer your questions as to whether I go to church on Sunday. I'm here to help you get to the appropriate agency that you need to get to, and I have referred you to.
So who do I go to? Who do I go to
Hello?
Who do I go to
Finish
sue
my
these
thought.
people? All right.
You hire an attorney, sir.
If I don't have an
Hire an
attorney,
attorney.
so
You
people.
go to the Rhode Island Bar Association website and look up a lawyer referral and see if you can get a lawyer to represent you.
No one will represent me until the black bolus is over.
No one will represent you until the what is over?
There's a black bolus on me. That's why I'm not allowed on TV and not allowed in newspapers and magazines. Because, so when I called Channel 10 News in Providence to do the story, they said that I'm harassing them. In other words, I'm calling them with the greatest news story ever, and they're calling the police on me and saying I'm harassing them. Have you ever heard of anything more disgusting in your entire life? And if so, what would that be?
I'm not here to answer your questions. I'm here to try to guide you in the right direction.
Well, you're not a good guide.
I'm not a good guide. Well,
No.
I appreciate that. I try my best.
So anyway, you see my problem. In other words, it's called corruption. And that's why God calls Rhode Island Rhode Crimeland and Rhode Slimeland. Do you understand that pun? That's not an opinion. That's just a fact. In other words,
okay.
I'm just
Okay,
asking
that's
you.
your
Do you,
fact. And you're entitled to all the facts you have. And I'm not here to question them. I'm not here to do any of that. My role here is to make sure that you get to the appropriate agency. And I have sent you to the disciplinary board, the Rhode Island State Police, and the Rhode Island Commission on Human Rights.
okay, but who? But you're telling me to go hire an attorney. In other words, when dark tan people in the KKK days were discriminated against and harassed almost as much as I'm discriminated and harassed, and they needed help and they didn't have any money. Who did they call?
I don't know who they called.
Well, can you? I'll hold. Find out, because that's who I have to call.
I can't, sir. I have other calls coming in. I'm gonna.
But what's more important than this call? Have you gotten a more important call?
I'm appreciative of your passion and that God channels through you. I appreciate that totally. I just need to make sure that you have the information that you need, and that is the Commission on Human Rights, the Rhode Island Disciplinary Board, and the Rhode Island State Police, and the Bar Association for an attorney. And I certainly wish you all the best in your quest.
Let me ask you a question, last one.
Because I'm going to end the call by saying I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for.
It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving. It's called thanks.
It's okay.
It's called thanks for taking our land and our people in the name of a man named Jesus.
Okay.
That's not Thanksgiving. Do you think that's Thanksgiving? When we stole the land from the Indians and desecrated them and tortured them in the name of a man named Jesus. So is that thanks for taking our land and our people, or is that Thanksgiving? What?
I do appreciate your passion. I do. And I just wish you all the best in your next steps, okay? You have a good one.
It's not passion. It's just scientific evidence.